You don't lose money when you upgrade, you lose flexibility, and flexibility is what protects your identity. The trap never feels dramatic. It feels earned. It feels deserved. It feels like growth. The first upgrade does not change your life overnight. It changes your baseline. And once your baseline moves, your standards move with it. Then your expectations follow. Then your identity adjusts. The upgrade is not expensive because of the price. It is expensive because of what it quietly becomes. And you won't notice the shift when it happens. It doesn't feel like losing control. It feels like settling into something better. The first upgrade does not raise your lifestyle. It raises the version of you that you feel obligated to maintain. And maintaining an identity is far more costly than making a purchase. Let's say it's a phone. Your current one works fine. It is not broken. It does everything you need. But the new model just came out. It looks cleaner. It feels faster. The camera is sharper. The battery lasts longer. And you worked hard this year. You earned more. You pushed yourself. You stayed disciplined. So upgrading feels reasonable. It feels aligned. You are not chasing status. You are simply improving your tools. It is only slightly more per month. It fits your budget. You can afford it. This is not irresponsibility. This is improvement. At least, that is how it feels. And at this point, nothing feels dangerous. You are still in control. It's only $200 more. Only. It's just $15 more per week. Just. It's barely a percentage of your income. Barely. You run the math in your head. You compare it to coffee. You compare it to dinners out. You compare it to things that feel trivial. And the difference seems harmless. You tell yourself this is about efficiency. You tell yourself this is about quality. You tell yourself this is about standards. The numbers look small. The decision looks clean. You feel calm. At this point, nothing feels dangerous. You have not changed your life. You have only upgraded a device. Or, at least, that is the story. The moment is not when you swipe your card. The moment is not when you open the box. The moment is not when you turn it on. The moment happens later. And when it happens, it won't feel like a moment at all. The first time it feels normal. The first time you stop noticing the upgrade, because that is when the shift happens. The second comfort becomes standard. Flexibility disappears. Pause. That is the pivot. Before that moment, it was optional. After that moment, it becomes expected. Your brain does not treat comfort as a bonus. It treats it as the new minimum. And once something becomes your minimum, losing it feels like going backward. This is commitment bias in motion. Not loud, not dramatic. Just quiet alignment with your last decision. You do not defend the purchase. You defend the version of yourself that made it. And that is where ownership flips. You think you own the upgrade, but slowly, without friction, it starts owning you. The cost does not show up on your bank statement first. It shows up in your expectations. Once the upgrade becomes normal, your old standard feels inadequate. You stop comparing up. You start comparing down. You do not want to go back, not because you cannot, because it would feel like regression. And regression feels like failure. This is the invisible cost. Your survival number quietly increases, not in one dramatic jump. In quiet adjustments you don't track. Not your bill, your standard. Your comfort level shifts upward. Your tolerance for inconvenience drops. Your patience shrinks. Your definition of acceptable changes. And when your minimum standard rises, so does the pressure to sustain it. That pressure does not scream. It hums in the background. It influences how much income you need, how much stability you require, how much risk you are willing to take. The upgrade did not just change your device. It changed the version of you that feels normal. And normal is expensive to maintain. Now something subtle happens. You begin to integrate the upgrade into your identity. Not publicly, internally. You get used to the speed, the clarity, the smoothness. It becomes part of how you move through the world. Then someone hands you an older phone. And you feel it. The lag, the wait, the delay. You do not just notice the difference. You feel downgraded. That is identity lock. And it rarely feels like a lock. It feels like growth. That's why you don't see it tightening. Once comfort becomes identity, losing comfort feels like losing status. Even if nobody else cares, even if nobody else notices, you notice. And that is enough. Commitment bias keeps you aligned with your past decision. Loss aversion makes the idea of going backward feel painful. Status anchoring makes your new level feel like who you are. So you do not ask, was this necessary? You ask, how do I stay here? That shift is quiet, but powerful, because staying there requires consistency, and consistency requires income. This is not about a phone. It is about upgrades that redefine your baseline. The apartment that is slightly nicer, the car that feels more premium, the subscription that unlocks the better tier, the gym that feels more exclusive. Each one feels small in isolation, but each one raises your floor. Not your ceiling, your floor, your minimum acceptable standard. And when your floor rises, your margin shrinks. The gap between income and obligation gets thinner. The space for flexibility gets tighter. Every upgrade narrows the distance between earning and surviving, not dramatically, gradually. And gradual shifts are the hardest to see. Here is where it becomes serious. The first upgrade does not just cost money, it compresses freedom. When your standards rise, your dependency rises with them. It becomes harder to take a lower-paying role, harder to start something new, harder to walk away from a situation that drains you, because now you are not just protecting income, you are protecting identity. The first upgrade does not make you richer. It makes your current income necessary, and necessity is how ownership begins. You stop optimizing for growth. You optimize for stability. You do not feel trapped, you feel responsible. But responsibility built on upgraded expectations can quietly become constraint. The upgrade felt empowering, but the baseline shift made it binding, not immediately, but predictably. This is not about poor discipline. This is not about bad money habits. This is not about being irresponsible. It is about identity drift. Every upgrade sends a signal to your brain. This is who I am now. And the brain protects identity more aggressively than it protects money. You can cut expenses. You can cancel subscriptions. You can downgrade a plan. But downgrading identity feels different. It feels like losing ground. It feels like shrinking. It feels like admitting you overshot. And humans resist shrinking, especially when status is involved. You do not buy upgrades to impress strangers. You buy them to align with the version of yourself you believe you are becoming. The danger is not the object. The danger is the attachment. Once attachment forms, the cost is no longer financial. It becomes psychological, and psychological costs are harder to reverse because you are no longer protecting a purchase. You are protecting self-image, and self-image fights back. This is not about poor discipline. This is not about bad money habits. This is not about being irresponsible. It is about identity drift. Every upgrade sends a signal to your brain. This is who I am now. And the brain protects identity more aggressively than it protects money. You can cut expenses. You can cancel subscriptions. You can downgrade a plan. But downgrading identity feels different. It feels like losing ground. It feels like shrinking. It feels like admitting you overshot. And humans resist shrinking, especially when status is involved. You do not buy upgrades to impress strangers. You buy them to align with the version of yourself you believe you are becoming. The danger is not the object. The danger is the attachment. Once attachment forms, the cost is no longer financial. It becomes psychological. And psychological costs are harder to reverse. Because you are no longer protecting a purchase. You are protecting self-image. And self-image fights back. Signature ending. The first upgrade is the quiet one. So the next time you upgrade something, do not look at the price first. Look at the baseline shift. Ask yourself, if this becomes normal, what will feel unacceptable? If this becomes standard, what will feel like loss? If this becomes identity, what will I need to maintain it? The first upgrade is never dramatic. It is subtle. It is clean. It feels earned. That is why it is powerful. Because the most dangerous changes are the ones that feel justified. The upgrade does not own you instantly. It owns you gradually by redefining what feels normal. And by the time you notice it, it already does. Then optional becomes impossible. You do not lose when you spend. You lose when you standardize. It's not a scam. It's not incompetence. It's bias. And bias quietly turns comfort into obligation.